um, mobile platforms. I'm talking about like iOS, Android, WebOS. What else is there? Blackberry OS. Um, have you had any? You haven't had any real time with the Android phone, have you?
No, I haven't. I have no idea how an Android phone even works. Now, I have a bunch of friends who have Android phones. They say it works pretty well. It's not that different from iOS. So,
But the thing is, iOS is outselling Android. Consider that iOS is only on one type of phone. Well, let's say a phone, music playing device, and a tablet. That's all that iOS is on. Android is on lots of third-party tablets, all these different size phones and stuff. Now, I think the reason why iOS is doing so much better than Android is that, despite the fact that the hardware is awesome, but when you consider if you want a good iOS experience from a first-party developer and hardware designer, you go out and get an iPod Touch, $200 for iOS experience. If you want a good Android experience, not just a cheap tablet that doesn't have any kind of good hardware or anything, you don't have that kind of option. You have to buy a cell phone at full price. Or you can buy like a cheaper Android phone and not get the full Android experience because they're probably running like Android 1.6 or something. Now, Android doesn't have the option if you just want to hop on Android and play with it for less than $200. Apple, you have to just go buy an iPod Touch. I think that's the whole reason iOS is doing so much better. You have that option of not getting signed into a contract or buying a $600 phone, just getting $200 device that has the latest version of that firmware and the latest version of the hardware. Android, you don't have that option. I see the the Galaxy Player is coming out, but again, that's going to be a generation behind. I don't think it's even selling, or if it's even out yet. I haven't heard too much about it, but I think doesn't have any good hardware on it. I think it has like a 5-inch screen and a 4-inch screen version, but the internals I think are 800 and 1 gigahertz, and it's not even selling, or if it's even out yet. And they're moving on to dual core and everything. And how much upgrade capability that's going to have, being from Samsung, who are notorious for not being able to upgrade their devices to the latest firmwares. That's my whole problem with Android. Not having another option for people who just want to hop on and play without being subject to horrible hardware and software. I mean, that's my whole thing.
yeah, like if you make a product, you always want that product to last, no matter what it is. You know, like when I got my first cell phone, I kept that cell phone for like 6 years. Mind you, I'm 11 at this time. So before I got a new cell phone, I'm like 17 years old before I get another one.
That brings up another argument, dude. When, you get an Android phone, and you happy with this latest thing to come out. 2 months later, or even a week later, you hear rumors of another HTC made thing that's supposed to have dual core 3D 5-megapixel cameras, both two of them. But if you get an iPhone, that phone will last you at least a year, at least. I mean, the 3GS, which came out 2 years ago, still an awesome phone, still selling well. iPod Touch 3rd generation, I don't even think they sell that anymore, but eBay is a hot thing to get that from. It's selling really well. The higher models, like the 32 and the 64 gig of that. Android, I know it's good that you have a lot of options, size, keyboard, if you don't want a keyboard, 4.5 inch touchscreen or 3.2 inch touchscreen. But you don't give the buyers the satisfaction of knowing they have a product that will last them subconsciously throughout the year. I mean, it'll last, it won't break up or anything, but just in their mind, they're going to know that they're always a step behind with Android. And with iOS, you're going to know that, well, a new phone's coming out in a year, but I know I'll be good with this until that new phone comes out.
And I can get my upgrade.
Yeah.
Like, going to buy a phone at this time, like, oh, they made an announcement. They're gonna start selling this phone at this time. Let me go buy this phone. So when that's what I believe that I don't believe they're gonna actually come out with an iPhone 5 this year.
What do you think we're gonna do?
They're gonna hold it off to redesign it and make it like a iPhone 4G or something, which I believe the iPhone 4 already has the 4G capability. They just have to redesign it, to keep that what you call it, that hand thing they were talking about.
Oh, the antenna gate where you put your little finger on the side of the phone.
Yeah. Like, actually, who does that anyway?
Well, I've seen where my brother has the phone, and he has the problem once. He had the problem once because he had his phone, I think it was left-handed or whatever, and well, he's right-handed, but I can see lefties having a problem. But the problem, just honestly, what he did was he just stuck a piece of tape right there and just got rid of it, But I can see a lot of Android people saying, well, you shouldn't have to do that, his phone should come out the gate, with perfect everything because it's Apple. I mean, come on, every product that comes out nowadays is a beta. I mean, Apple's notorious for doing this. Every product that come out, the iPad 2 that just came out, a lot of recalls because of screen leakage and antenna problems and the Verizon one not even working to get the network. I mean, every product is a beta product. You look at a lot of Android phones that come out, they're horrible when they first come out. They get a firmware update, they're okay. I mean, just these things like that these little iOS fanboys and Android fanboys throw at each other are just annoying. I mean, I would love to get an Android phone just because of the browser and because of some of the unique applications. I don't say applications, I mean like the emulators. That's all I want, really. Because iOS emulators, the emulators on for iOS has gone kind of flat lately. I love to play like Zelda Ocarina of Time on an Android phone. That'd be awesome. And just
speaking of emulators, the emulator game, dude, I would love for them to just bring back all the old games for like the Game Boy and 64 and stuff to like these mobile devices and just update them just a little bit. You don't have to do that much. Just update them a little bit, give them better graphics. After that, don't even mess with the game. Keep it the same, just update the graphics, and just bring it back.
That's mostly what the 3DS is doing right now. They brought back Star Fox 64, Mario 64, Ocarina of Time in 3D and in handheld form with updated graphics, widescreen, and everything. PlayStation has done that kind of with their PlayStation phone just came out. I think it's called Xperia Play, and you can play them on the PSP or whatever. Xbox doesn't really have it back in the day. They're just there. But I'd rather use emulators because I don't want to buy a dedicated device to play games. I love to play games on my iPod that all they do everything on. I know it doesn't have physical controls, but touchscreen goes okay. And Xperia Play, if I had that, I'd be A-okay. But again, that phone probably won't last another 5 months because it has a 1 GHz processor and they're moving on to dual core. I'm hearing rumors of quad core coming out later in the year. So, and that's a shame, really. The rate phones are accelerating with their hardware. I mean, your laptop has a 1.6 GHz single-core processor. And their phone's coming out with the HTC Sensation Galaxy S2 that has a 1.2 GHz dual-core with a gig of RAM, which your laptop also has, a gig of RAM. I mean, I like the acceleration.
And they can barely hold a song on there.
Only thing... I mean, if, let's say... Oh yeah, we forgot to talk about Windows Phone 7, man. Speaking of laptops, Windows Phone 7. That's a good subject. Windows Phone 7, when it came out, big news. New operating system, fresh look, fresh OS. When people got their hands on it, it was snappy. Then when they actually dug into it, a lot of stuff missing. Multitasking, copy and paste, basic features like that. And everybody's saying that it's copy off an iPhone, which they did it with their first 2 iPhones that came out didn't have video capabilities or anything like that. But why would you copy that on a phone that came out 4 years after the original iPhone? Okay, maybe they rushed it out the gate because they want to get a new OS out there. But I would, to get rid of the just noise coming from people raving about not having these features, hold it out for another month until you get everything correct, then release it in terms of OS. Can't really get hardware completely correct because, different people use the phone different kind of ways. That's the whole hardware problem that I covered earlier. I just want to reiterate that. Different people handle the phone in different ways, so the manufacturers really don't know how the phone is going to react to different people, how they hold it, how they drop it, stuff like that. I mean, you give the phone to a couple of developers inside the company, and they're probably going to be really careful with it because it's their own product. And they can't really bring it out to the public because you'll see all these leaked pictures and stuff. The whole Engadget thing that happened with the iPhone 4, that probably happened because
why don't they just do like the movie readers?
What's that?
Bring in certain group of people and do the whole contract thing.
A real world test. They bring in a group of people to tell them to play with this phone. I mean, they got to bring in the group of people to control the area. Not let them live their lives the way they want to, use the phone the way they want to.
They can still use the phone, but I'm saying you can't, do certain things. They have a contract.
If you bring 10 people in this room right now and tell them, use the phone, I want you to use it, tell them how you like it, just go about it. They sit, they're in their room playing with the phone. Maybe you tell them to like roam the hallways or something. They're playing with the phone, they're in the hallway, it's not their phone. I mean, they're not going to like put it in their pocket or go around talking on it or do whatever, take pictures, go show their friends, because they can't show their friends actually. I mean, yeah, but anyway, what were we talking about again? Windows Phone 7?
Yeah.
Okay, Windows Phone 7. I like Windows Phone 7 because it's very quick, but that quickness could be due to the fact that it has no multitasking right now. I mean, with iOS, before multitasking came, it was like lightning. It's like much faster than Android. Then they got multitasking. It slowed down a little bit. Android has always been kind of fast because the, I guess, openness, which they aren't really open. But that's another subject for another day. I think that's enough about phones, huh?
Yeah.